All right, we got about 26 and a half hours before Indiana and Miami take the field in the national championship game. And so, what are we looking for right now? We're looking for updated injury news right now. And there's a little bit of good news, and we really got this yesterday, but it's that Brendan Franke is probable for tomorrow night's game. And he's a guy who can bang it through the end zone so that Miami never gets a shot at a return and they get a touchback no matter what happens. That would be a great thing. That would be a nice way to start, right? Although last week, I did enjoy last week in the Peach Bowl where Indiana just clocked the returner and really set a tone for that game. This is going to be something tomorrow. The challenge that Indiana has is not physical. It's mental. It's approaching this game psychologically as though this game is the thing. And every play within this game is the thing. If they can do that, if they can avoid the pitfalls of thinking, man, aren't we sweet? Aren't we something? Man, if we can just win. You know what I mean? You start thinking along those lines, and all of a sudden your brain goes cattywampus, and you've got chaos. And you're not thinking correctly. You're not being procedural in the way you approach this game. And that can't happen for this team if this team's going to win. They are like they've had their flowers, right? My God, if they were watching CBS this morning and Sunday morning and heard Jane Pauley and her little opus to what this means to her as an Indiana University graduate, who would have thought, right, 2 years ago that Jane Pauley would take 7 minutes and talk about the importance of Indiana University in her life and how football is really validating that importance. That's kind of what you got this morning. And it was awesome. Gloriana Frangipane. Here's to her belong. And then she said that somebody she knew, I'm assuming at Indiana, when she was a student there, thought that Herbie Long founded the university. That's awesome. Anyway, this is Holly Rowe. Curt Cignetti talked about it to the media. Holly Rowe did kind of a live thing walking off the practice field where she was actually emotional because the Indiana players spent so much time hugging each other and congratulating each other on their final practice. Good afternoon, Evan. How are you? And so here's what Cignetti had to say about all of this. He said, I think leading up to this game, there's been a lot of pro-Indiana hype, a lot of rat poison out there. He said, I happened to see Holly Rose's thing on social media, although it's Holly Rose thing. That must have been like speak to translate somehow. Holly Rose thing on social media this morning about our guys hugging each other at the end of the practice. It is a close team. I've witnessed quite a bit of sentimentalism throughout the week from some of our seniors who we've been with for quite a long time. I think it's time to sharpen the saw now. Throw those warm fuzzies out the door. That's sentimentalism. It's time to go play a game against a great opponent. We've got to have a sharp edge going into this game. You don't go to war with warm milk and cookies. Curt Cignetti is never going to be sentimental because it does not benefit his team to be sentimental. After the game, you can be sentimental maybe for 24 hours. And then you get the new team together and you start thinking about next season. Maybe you do it for a couple of days. You do it until after the parade's over if Indiana wins. I liked going on Peegs and looking at the message board for all of the predictions. There was one prediction out of more than 40 that had Indiana winning by single digits. The rest, all double digits. Some of them very optimistic about the way this thing's going to go. I'm optimistic about the way this thing's going to go. I don't think Indiana gets beat. I think they have the perfect coach and the perfect makeup to go out tomorrow night and play football like they mean it. And that's what they got to do in order to win this game. Brendan says, go IU. What's Miami's strong suit? They got Fletcher as a running back who's really good. And he's been superb during the college football playoff. We'll talk about that in a second. I'm really nervous. Do you think we'll win? I do think we'll win. Absolutely. So here's what Fletcher has done. He's averaged 132 yards per game 132 and a third over the college football playoff. Miami has played 3 games, and he's done big work and carried a lot of the offensive load for Miami. Now, what Indiana wants to do is have Carson Beck make a bunch of decisions, because Carson Beck will make bad decisions and he will throw you the football if you allow him to do that. So Bryant Haynes, his defense, they got to be on point, not make mistakes, have coverage where they're supposed to, make sure the safeties are where they're supposed to, get pressure on Beck, have a spy on Beck so he doesn't get first downs the way he did in the previous game, which was obviously deleterious to Ole Miss. But that's what you got to do. You got to make Carson Beck try to beat you. And if that doesn't happen, you can't let Fletcher beat you. All right, you take Fletcher away, then Beck's got to beat you. And that, I think, bodes well for Indiana. And on the other side, what is Miami going to do? Is Miami going to take away the running game and try to limit Hemby and Black? Or are they going to try to take away the passing game and go dime, right? 6 DBs. They don't have a lot of healthy DBs. Their health situation, not great. First of all, Xavier Lucas is going to be out for the first half because he targeted in the second half of the game against Ole Miss. That's tough rocks. People complaining about it. Cristobal complaining about it. Go ahead, complain. Go ahead, whine. I love it. Take your eye off the task at hand to complain about something that you can't do anything about. Love it. Love watching Houston Texans get beat. Stroud has got awful once again. This is not his best game so far, but the game's not over. I was watching out there, and yeah, CJ not throwing the ball where he ought to. For a placement specialist, not so good today. So that Xavier Lucas will be back in the second half. Elijah Lofton, tight end, out. Damari Brown, defensive back. He's going to be a game-time decision. O.J. Frederick, he was only on the field for 6 snaps in the Fiesta Bowl. He says he's fully healthy. We'll see. Everybody says they're fully healthy until they get out there on the field. Where are you watching a game from? Right here. I'm watching a game at home. I don't need distractions. Julie doesn't need distractions. We're going to sit and we're going to do our touchdown celebration, which is basically this. It's basically this, and conch hips. That's what we do. The Holly Rowe thing was pretty cool because you could tell it was heartfelt. I agree with the Indy Sports Fan 72. No other injury news really that's worth sharing. No surprises. Wyatt, BB Daly, Boyd out. Jaja Boyd, I don't know what Jaja Boyd was thinking entering the portal because he didn't have to. From the 20th to the 24th, both Indiana and Miami have a portal window that's going to be open. So I don't really understand at all why Jaja Boyd has entered the portal early and decided not to play in the national championship game at all. That just strikes me as kind of silly. And for a team this close, that does not, foretell closeness, at least not from Jaja Boyd. Houston, you have a problem. Love it. Yeah, they do have a problem. And I hate the Patriots too. So it's kind of, whoever wins, we're happy and unhappy in equal measure. Evan asks, any chance Curt Cignetti, once he's done winning the championship, will go and coach IU basketball? No, there's no chance for that. He won't even coach football in the NFL. He's not going to coach basketball in college or anywhere else. No. I'd like to hear him talk to him, though. I'd like for him to have, you got 24 teams, right? Or 24 sports, one team at Indiana. I would like Cignetti to get the other 23 coaches in a room and say, here's how we do it. How about that? That'd be all right. Hey, one thing I want to mention, though, while we're talking about basketball, is I was really kind of unfairly negative about Reed Bailey yesterday and the coach that recruited him. I don't know who it is, but I said he ought to be fired. I don't feel very good about saying that. This is just a kid who's trying to play basketball at Indiana as best he can. And if he falls short, he falls short, but we're not going to hate on the kid for it. It's not like he's going out there and trying to not play well. So I'm not real happy with myself in doing that yesterday. Will Peyton Manning be the quarterback coach for Denver on the sidelines for Sam Ehlinger? I would think about doing, if I were Denver, I would think about doing with Peyton what the Colts did with Phil. Hello, Peyton. Do you have one more in you? Maybe two more in you? Can you get that wing lubed up and get out here and start flinging the pigskin? Is that a remote possibility? You might want to make that call because Ehlinger is not going to win a playoff game. Stroud and May both looking bad. And watch. Of course he will win it. No, he won't. IU has not failed all year. This game is no different. It is. It is different. I get what you're saying, and I completely agree with it. But it is different in that it is the unplayed game. That's the unplayed game. And you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. And what Indiana is going to have to do is Indiana is going to have to grab that game by the throat and squeeze all the life out of it from the first snap to the last. That's what you got to do. You have got to be utterly focused on that play in that moment. You cannot think about the magnitude of the event or anything other than the moment you are in and the responsibility you have. You just can't. Evan says, Phillip Rivers to Denver, one last run for the Super Bowl, probably his best opportunity. He could do that. I don't think he's gonna. Toby says, man, sure seems like Colts did or said something to piss off Peyton Manning. I see him involved in Denver football way more than Indy. Yeah, fired him. That'll stick with you. Team fires you, you're going to be like, all right, you know. You think Peyton Manning's going to forget he got fired here? No. I'm glad he comes at all to like honor his teammates as they go into the Ring of Honor and stuff like that. I think that's class by Peyton Manning. I think so, right? And no, he's not. He didn't retire a Colt. He's not a Colt. He got fired by the Colts. That is going to be the lasting memory for Peyton Manning as a Colt. That's just the way it is. Indy Scott 35 said, you will be screaming tomorrow night with IU winning the championship. I hope so. Haha, right, that's pretty clear. Plus, he lives there. Yeah, he doesn't live here, does he? How special is this for the Sterlings? Will Ryan be joining you to watch? If so, maybe he'll join for a special postgame. I would love that. But Ryan has a lot going on. It's kind of like Cat's Cradle. It's like the old Harry Chapin song. You know, sorry, Dad, been nice talking to you. You know, that's the way it goes with kids when they grow up. He is very, very much plugged in to what we're doing, and we are him, and we could not be happier with that. Rather have Texans and Patriots. Peyton still makes comments about that to this day. I would too. You get fired, it leaves a mark. That's just the way it goes. But the Hoosiers, we'll have our prediction tomorrow and everything. But I've told you from the jump, like 45-10 makes sense. I think they win this game by 35 points, somewhere in that neighborhood. I think once Indiana gets rolling and they get that momentum behind them, they are really, really hard to stop. And they just keep making plays. And the more plays they make, the more pressure that puts on a team like Miami or Bama or Oregon. Once they start making those plays kind of become exponentially more important and bigger for Indiana. And I think that's what's going to happen tomorrow. I do, look, and you can't blame any of us for a jinx. Because what Indiana University has gone and done, they took the Dolphins out of Showalter Fountain. And that opens the jinx window. So if there is a jinx, that is where it came from. Colts may be playing against Robert Saleh-led Titans next season. That wouldn't bother me, not in the least. That'd be okay. I'm all good with Robert Saleh being the head of what the Titans do. Because until the Titans fix their ownership, they got no chance anyway. Attending the parade on Thursday or Friday, Kent, I've hoped that, or I've heard that it's going to be Saturday. I hope that you do. You have earned this, buddy. Well, that's nice of you to say, Evan. Whoever makes it will lose to the NFC anyway. Well, now that Buffalo's out, which I didn't like because I thought that call was jacked up. Some calls are just so close. And that interception call, I thought the Bills player had control of the ball when he was down. And then it was taken away. I think it might be more like the ISU-IU or OSU-IU game where it's low scoring. I don't think so. I don't think this defense measures up to Ohio State's. I know that Miami beat Ohio State by 10. I get that. But I don't think Miami is as good as Ohio State offensively or defensively. I think they're more like maybe Miami than they are, or like Bama, than they are anybody else that Indiana's played. I think they're like that. I know you got two good edges. I know you got a couple of DBs, but those guys aren't playing, at least for the first half, in all likelihood. You got a wideout you have to stop, if not two. You got Fletcher. You have Carson Beck. You have an old-ass offensive line. Yeah, I think it's maybe a better matchup, but I think that Miami is a team prone to making mistakes, much more prone to mistakes than Indiana. Indiana's just, they can't make mistakes. They've got to be as tactically and fundamentally sound as they've been all through this season. Got to be a little bit better than they were against Penn State and against Iowa. But other than that, they've been really, really good. OD game at best, 28-14. Yeah, I don't know. I 28. I think it's going to be. I think Indiana's going to score more, and I don't think that. Look at what in four college. Well, this will be the fourth college football playoff game. In the other three, what'd they win by? 10-4-3. Indiana's winning by 34, 35 points. Like, Indiana's just curb stomping people. I don't think that's going to stop. I think that's going to continue. I think Indiana is in a perfect position to play a great game. The weather is supposed to be cloudy and 60-ish when you kick off tomorrow night. I just got a text from the great Paulie Ballst. It can't start soon enough. What are we doing? It's another, we're just sitting here. We're sitting here flapping our gums about the game that's going to come. What are you going to do? Indiana, you got Miami scoring 20. Oh, Indiana only gave up 20 or more twice this year. The 24 to Penn State, and they gave up 20 to Oregon in the first game, the regular season game. So I like Indiana in this game a lot to win this game. I don't think Miami is a better team anywhere. Coaching, O-line, D-line, linebacker, running back, wide receiver, tight end. The tight end, we know he's down tomorrow for Miami. Did I miss anybody? Special teams with Frankie back, if he's back. Yeah, I think it's going to be like 45-10. I think Indiana scores more than 40, and I think Miami scores, maybe between 10 and 17. But I always feel bad. Like, I outsmarted myself with a Bama prediction. I said 45-10. And what it wound up, Bama couldn't get on the board. They had a lone field goal. It was 38-3. Even though the difference, the point differential, was exactly the same, I still felt like I had failed IU because I had said that Bama was going to score 10. Every single time this team plays, we think, oh, man, maybe this is the one where, they get bit in the ass. I don't think this is one where they get bit in the ass. I think they're going to come out, whatever happens in the first half, I think they come out in the second half and they kick the living shit out of Miami. I think that's exactly what's going to happen. We'll talk to you tomorrow morning. Breakfast with Kent bright and early. I'm going to go watch the rest of the Patriots-Texans game and then the Bears and the Rams. Paulie Ball says, feels like 6. I don't know what that means. I hope he doesn't think that's going to mean he is a well-heeled Indiana alum, and I hope he's not saying that Indiana is going to win by 6. Colts should be playing this weekend. Can't LOL. I'm still butthurt. If they shouldn't be playing, it all went haywire as soon as the schedule got tough. If Miami scores near or over 20, it'll be junk scores at the end. I totally am with that. Later, Kent. Later, who's your daddy? Go IU. I feel like it's going to be IU 35, Miami 20. I would settle for that, but I think that's worst case scenario. This is unbelievable. It is unbelievable. What kind of an alternate universe are we living in? Right? Those were terrible calls by the ref. Never should have called them. Heard Jim Bob and Lou may be moving on. Anything can happen. Have a wonderful night, Kent. You have a wonderful night. Something's going to happen different, right? If you don't do something different, 8 and 9 is what you're going to get, because that's what this team was the last 2 years. And 9 and 8. Wait, 9 and 8, 8 and 9, 8 and 9, and 2 years prior to that 9 and 8, they were 9 and 8 again. So there you go. All right. No, just got another text from somebody, football savant, who said, you know what, Bears, they got a chance to beat the Rams tonight, but they are not going to beat Seattle. 100% right. They will not beat. Seattle's going to the Super Bowl. Hate to say it. I'd love to see the Bears go. I hope Indiana kicks Miami's ass from the start. We have an undefeated football team and basketball team. Huh? Who's undefeated in basketball? Be awesome to have an undefeated. Oh, it would be awesome to have an undefeated basketball. That would be. Oh, maybe we have an undefeated football team and a basketball team. That would be accurate. In fact, we have 2 basketball teams, and one is unvictorious. Don't underestimate Darnold going pumpkin mode. I don't believe that's going to happen, because Seattle's defense is just a menace. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow morning. Breakfast with Kent, like I said, bright and early.